All right, let's talk about Google Cloud Run. We're going to break down what it is and why it's become such a game changer for developers. Seriously, this is all about running your apps without ever having to think about a server again. I mean, let's be real for a second. Who actually enjoys the whole song and dance of setting up servers, guessing how much capacity you need, and then worrying about maintenance? It's a total headache, and it's a pain point pretty much everyone in tech has felt. So this is where Cloud Run comes in. To put it simply, it's a platform where Google takes care of all that frustrating infrastructure stuff for you. You just hand it your application inside a container, and it handles the rest. It runs it, it scales it automatically, you don't manage a thing. Now, that word container can sound a little intimidating if you're not used to it, but here's a super simple way to think about it. It's basically like a self-contained executable file, an exe file, for your entire application. It has everything it needs all bundled up. Cloud Run's job is just to take that little package and run it for you on the web. That's it. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But the real question is, does this actually work at a massive scale? Well, let's look at some real-world proof and see how some huge companies are using this exact technology right now. And we're going to start with a big one, Twitch. The entire chat service, the thing that makes Twitch, runs completely on Cloud Run. We're not talking about some small internal side project. This is a core, real-time, incredibly high traffic feature of their platform. And this right here, this is where it gets crazy. After they moved over from their old servers, Twitch's chat service could suddenly handle 3 times the amount of traffic. That's not a small bump. That is a massive, massive leap in scalability, all from going serverless. So you're probably thinking, okay, that must have cost a fortune. But nope, it was actually the opposite. Not only did they get way more power, Twitch also saw a huge drop in their infrastructure costs. Why? Because they stopped paying for servers to just sit around idle. They only paid for the exact resources they were using at any given moment. And it's not just Twitch. OLX Brazil, a massive online marketplace, moved their whole backend over to Cloud Run. Even Google itself trusts it for huge products like Google Photos, which uses it to run its complex microservices. So this shows just how flexible it is for all kinds of different apps. Okay, so you get it, it's powerful. But now you're probably wondering, how does this stack up against other tools I know? When should I use this versus something else? Let's break down those key differences. First up, Cloud Run versus Cloud Functions. Think of it this way. Cloud Functions is perfect for small, simple, single-task bits of code, like when a file gets uploaded here, run this little script. Cloud Run, on the other hand, is for running your whole application or surface. It gives you way more flexibility to use any programming language, any libraries, as long as you can stick it in a container. And hey, you don't even have to pick just one. Here's a great quote from Commerzbank showing how they use both together. They use functions for those quick event-based things, but when they need more power and more custom control, that's when they turn to Cloud Run. Now for the big one. What about Kubernetes? The choice here is really between operational simplicity and total control. With Kubernetes, you can control everything, which is amazing, but it comes with a ton of complexity and a really high human cost to manage it all. Cloud Run just takes all of that complexity away. And I love this quote from a developer on Reddit because it perfectly captures how a lot of people approach this in the real world. The strategy is simple. Start with the ease of Cloud Run. If and only if your project gets so huge that the pay-per-use model starts to get expensive, then you can think about moving to something more powerful like GKE. So that brings us right to the money question. How much does all this cost? Well, the pricing is actually one of Cloud Run's best features. And it all starts with a free tier that is actually, well, generous. And when I say useful, I'm not talking about some tiny trial that runs out in a day. We're talking about a free tier that is big enough to run a small project or a development server, completely for free every single month. Let's just quickly run through the numbers. Every month, you get 2 million free requests. For a lot of websites or APIs just starting out, that's it. That's all you need. You're paying $0. On top of the requests, you get 180,000 vCPU seconds of compute time. To put that in perspective, that's like having a full CPU core running your code for 50 hours for free. And you get 360,000 gigabyte seconds of memory. You add all that up, and for a whole bunch of smaller projects, your monthly bill is just going to be $0, period. Now, if you do go past that free tier, the model is pure pay for what you use. You only get billed for the CPU and memory your container is using while it's actively handling a request, and they measure it down to the nearest 100 milliseconds. If you have no traffic, you have no cost. It's that simple. Okay, so let's tie all of this together. We've gone through what it is, who's using it, and what it costs. So the big question is Cloud Run the right choice for your project? While it's an absolute perfect fit for stateless apps and microservices, it's fantastic for any website or API where your traffic goes up and down. You can code in whatever language you love as long as it goes in a container. And fundamentally, it's for anyone who just wants to focus on building cool stuff and never, ever have to manage a server again, all while getting great features like a custom domain with automatic HTTPS security. So, at the end of the day, the question really is this. You've already done the hard work of packaging your application into a neat little container, making it ready to go anywhere. So, where are you going to run it? Cloud Run makes a pretty compelling case for being the simplest, most powerful answer out there.